Girivaradhari, Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Gopi Janvala, Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Yashoda Nandana, Jaya Braj Jana Ranjana, Jaya Yashoda Nandana, Jaya Braja Jana Ranjana, Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jai Radha Madhava Radha, Madhava Radhe, Jai Radha Madhava Radha, Madhava Radhe. Shri Radha Madhav ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you everyone for joining. Just share the screen here. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, Lakshmikant Prabhu requested me to speak today because we are starting a new series in our morning class on the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, or the benefits of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, because as has become the tradition, every year, a few weeks before Bhadra Purnima, we start to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam, so that when the day comes, we are ready to receive Srimad Bhagavatam within our hearts. Also, it just so happens that today is also the Vyas Puja of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and Prabhu asked me to speak, so we'll also speak a little bit about him in lieu of these verses. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 2:8, chapter 8, questions by King Parikshit, text 6. And so this there's a small section in this chapter on the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is actually as part of a sequence of verses. And it's the last one in the sequence of these verses, which somehow just, manifests here in Canto 2. I was reading with Sita some days back, and unexpectedly this section came up. So it's not one that is known so well, but actually somehow it's here, and it's very, very sweet. So actually I thought I'll read the verses before it, just so we can get some context, because the verses are very beautiful. The king said, text 2, I wish to know narrations concerning the Lord who possesses wonderful potencies. I wish to know narrations concerning the Lord who possesses wonderful potencies are certainly auspicious for living beings in all planets. O greatly fortunate Shukadev Goswami, please continue narrating Srimad Bhagavatam so that I can place my mind upon the Supreme Soul, Lord Krishna, and being completely freed from material qualities, thus relinquish this body. So, I mean, each verse and their purpose is amazing. It's like, obviously in Canto 1, Chapter 2, there's amazing verses in these, but this section, it's like a hidden section almost, and very amazing section on the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So once again, this verse, O greatly fortunate Shukadev Goswami, please continue narrating Srimad Bhagavatam so that I can place my mind upon the Supreme Soul, Lord Krishna, and being completely freed from material qualities, relinquish this material body. So Parikshit Maharaj is speaking these verses, and he is about to give up his body. These are his final days, and he's among all the things in the world that he could do, he's decided. The conclusion is not just him, but all the sages have told him the best thing to do is to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. And he's saying, please continue narrating this so I can place my mind on the lotus feet of Krishna and become free from all material qualities and relinquish my body. Persons who hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and are always taking the matter very seriously will have the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, manifested in their hearts within a short time. So, and then he's requesting that, and then he's saying he knows that this is going to happen. He's telling the world that if we hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly, which Prabhupada wanted us daily, this is why we have the morning daily class, and we take the matter very seriously, within our hearts, Krishna will manifest within a very short time. The sound incarnation of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Soul, Srimad Bhagavatam, enters into the heart of a self-realized devotee, sits on the lotus flower of his loving relationship, and thus cleanses the dust of material association, such as lust, anger, and hankering. Thus it acts like autumnal rains upon pools of muddy water. Actually, I think I told Lakshmikant Prabhu the wrong verse. So this is the verse that we're reading today, and we'll read the next one also. These both are very relevant for the day. Pravishta karna randhrena svanam bhava saroruham thunoti shamalam Krishna salilasya yathasharat. Pravishta, thus being entered, karna randhrena, through the holes of the ears, svanam, according to one's liberated position, bhava, constitutional relationship, sararuham, the lotus flower, thunoti, cleanses, shamalam, material qualities like lust, anger, avarice, and hankering, Krishna, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, salilasya, of the reservoir of waters, yatha, as it were, sharat, the autumnal season. The sound incarnation of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Soul, Srimad Bhagavatam, enters into the heart of a self-realized devotee, sits on the lotus flower of his loving relationship, and thus cleanses the dust of material association, such as lust, anger, and hankering. Thus it acts like autumnal rains upon pools of muddy water. See here, it's being said, the sound incarnation of Krishna is the Srimad Bhagavatam. So when we tell people that this is Krishna in book form. This is Krishna, you're taking Krishna home when you take Srimad Bhagavatam home. Then this is here confirmed by the Srimad Bhagavatam that it is the sound incarnation of Krishna. Krishna, right? The word, it's specially referring that this is Krishna going through the holes of your ears. The sound incarnation of Krishna is this book. So this is actually one of the incarnations of the Lord. Purport, it is said that a single pure devotee, you see, it is said that a single pure devotee of the Lord can deliver all the fallen souls of the world. Thus, one was actually in confidence. Thus, one was actually in the confidence of a pure devotee like Narada or Shukadeva Goswami, and thus is empowered by one spiritual master, as Narada was by Brahmaji, cannot only deliver himself from the clutches of Maya or illusion, but can deliver the whole world by his pure and empowered devotional strength. The comparison to the autumnal rain that falls on muddy reservoirs of water is very appropriate. During the rainy season, all the waters of the rivers become muddy. But in the month of July-August, the autumn season, when there is a slight rainfall, the muddy waters of the rivers all over the world become at once clear. In addition to some chemical, a small reservoir of water, like that of a metropolitan waterworks tank, can be cleared. But by such a tiny effort, it is not possible to clear up all the reservoirs of water like the rivers. A powerful, pure devotee of the Lord, however, can deliver not only his personal self, but also many others in his association. In other words, the cleansing of the polluted heart by other methods like the culture of empiric knowledge or mystic gymnastics can simply cleanse one's own heart. But devotional service to the Lord is so powerful that it can cleanse the hearts of the people in general by the devotional service of the pure, empowered devotee. A true representative of the Lord like Narada, Shukadeva Goswami, Lord Chaitanya, the six Goswamis, and later Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, etc., can deliver all people by their empowered devotional service. By sincere efforts to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, one realizes his constitutional relationship with the Lord in the transcendental humor of servitude, friendship, parental affection, or conjugal love. And by such self-realization, one becomes situated at once in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Not only were all the pure devotees like Narada self-realized souls, but they were engaged in preaching work automatically by spiritual impetus. And thus they delivered many poor souls engaged in the material modes, entangled in the material modes. They became so powerful because they sincerely followed the Bhagavatam principles by regular hearing and worshipping. By such actions, the accumulated material lusts, etc., become cleansed by the personal endeavor of the Lord within the heart. The Lord is always within the heart of the living being, but he becomes manifested by one's devotional service. Purification of the heart by culture of knowledge or mystic yoga may be all right for the time being for an individual person, but it is like the cleansing of a small quantity of stagnant water by chemical processes. Such clarification of the water may stand for the time being, and the sediments settle down. But by a slight agitation, everything becomes muddy. The idea is that devotional service to the Lord is the only method of cleansing the heart for good. Whereas other methods may be superficially good for the time being, there is a risk of becoming muddy again due to agitation of the mind. Devotional service to the Lord, with specific attention for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam regularly, and always is the best recommended method for liberation from the clutches of illusion. Om Gyanam Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shilakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadahmayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitangsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So this last sentence says, devotional service to the Lord with specific attention for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and always is the best recommended method for liberation from the clutches of illusion. This last sentence is very telling, because Prabhupada here is saying that devotional service to the Lord. So it's not just reading Srimad Bhagavatam or hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, but it's devotional service. All forms of devotional service, chanting, worshipping, serving the devotees, with specific attention for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, regularly and always, is the best recommended method for liberation from the clutches of illusion. So we may feel that how much can I read? In one place, Prabhupada says that reading Srimad Bhagavatam is pure devotional service. The only reason we have other services for you is because you cannot read Srimad Bhagavatam 24 hours a day, right? So Prabhupada is saying that actually we can read regularly and always. But because we are not on that level where we are able to read always or hear Srimad Bhagavatam always, 24 hours a day, which is pure devotional service, nothing more is needed. Therefore, we have so many other services so that we can be engaged in the Bhagavata process 24 hours a day. So here, this text is so amazing because it is describing the connection between the book Bhagavata and the person Bhagavata. The verse begins by saying that Krishna is the sound incarnation of Srimad Bhagavatam. But then the verse also says that this sound incarnation, where is it found? Right? Is it like, sound incarnation? So like, do we find it in the middle of the molecules? Do we find it, in the kitchen? Do we find it under the stove? Where do we find it? We find it in the heart of a self-realized devotee. It enters into the heart of a self-realized devotee. It sits on the lotus flower of his loving relationship. It sits on the lotus flower of his loving relationship with Krishna. And I stopped at this point because there's another verse in this section where Prabhupada describes how by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, one revives one's eternal relationship with Krishna in the five, and he mentions this specifically in the 5 different rasas, 4 different rasas of servitude, friendship, vatsalya, and madhurya. One actually can revive or revives one's relationship with Krishna through this Srimad Bhagavatam. So it sits on the lotus flower of his loving relationship and cleanses the dust of material association. It sits there and it removes all that is troublesome to the heart. Nashta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shlokir bhaktir bhavati naishtaki, such as lust, anger, and hankering. Thus it acts like autumnal rains upon pools of muddy water. So the Srimad Bhagavatam acts as this rain on pools of muddy water. After the rain, the water becomes very clear because all the mud falls to the bottom. But um, uh, in doing, but this analogy fails because eventually it becomes muddy again. This analogy is not fully complete, but this Bhagavatam, it cleanses the heart forever and ever. That heart becomes fully purified forever. Now, the interesting thing is that in the purport, Prabhupada uses the same analogy to describe the devotee. And he starts out this purport speaking about the devotees, not Srimad Bhagavatam. It is said that a single pure devotee of the Lord can deliver all the fallen souls of the world. See it actually in this same text. I was thinking it's a different text. Yeah. So it revives, Srimad Bhagavatam revives our eternal relationship with Krishna. So Prabhupada describes that a single pure devotee can deliver all the fallen souls of this world. And thus one who's actually in the confidence of a pure devotee like Narada or Shukadeva Goswami, and thus is empowered by one spiritual master as Narada was by Brahmaji, can not only deliver himself from the clutches of Maya or illusion, but can deliver the whole world by his pure and empowered devotional service. In this section, in the same series of verses, Prabhupada says that unless one is liberated himself, he cannot liberate others. He says it is illegal to become a spiritual master unless one can liberate those who are his disciples. And on the flip side, if someone is a pure devotee, then they can liberate the whole world, a single pure devotee. So, Prabhupada said that we are searching for one moon. There's so many stars, millions of stars in the sky. And those millions of stars in the sky will shine, and sometimes they blow out like this. But though there's so many stars, they don't light up the sky, even though we sometimes say that the stars lit up the sky. But the one moon can deliver all the fallen souls of this world. So this one pure devotee can deliver this whole universe. One time, one devotee mentioned to Srila Prabhupada that Bhaktivinoda Thakur was such a great saintly soul, but he only preached in India. His preaching went only so far, something along those lines. And Prabhupada stopped and he said, no, the devotee of the Lord is all powerful like the Lord. Bhaktivinoda Thakur could deliver the entire world, but he did not do that because he left some service for us to do. And he did that actually. Later on here, Prabhupada writes, Narada, Shukadeva Goswami, Lord Chaitanya, the 6 Goswamis, and later Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, etc., can deliver all people by their empowered devotional service. So I was actually thinking, when I read this first sentence, I was thinking of that incident where this devotee is speaking with Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada says, devotee is all powerful. Bhaktivinoda Thakur could deliver the whole world. And then here in the next paragraph, Prabhupada says the same thing, specifically mentions Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Now, both of them did not travel outside of India. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur sent one book outside of India. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur sent a few disciples. But Prabhupada is so humble and also realistic that he's saying, no, actually, these great saints, they deliver the whole world. By their devotional service, the whole world became delivered. It is by the desire of a pure devotee, their desire, that this whole universe becomes liberated. But he left, as a process of liberating us, he left the service of actually doing the service to us, to all of us, and particularly Srila Prabhupada. He manifested their desire. But Srila Prabhupada is thinking, I'm just an instrument manifesting their desire. In fact, they are doing it all. Right? What a mood of humility and service that Even the success is his, right? Prabhupada established 108 temples around the world. Prabhupada's movement now is establish 800 temples and 500 million books and all these things. But he is thinking that no, actually Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they delivered everyone. It is by their empowered devotional service that everyone became delivered, but it's simply manifesting through my efforts. They're simply using me as an instrument to manifest their desire. So powerful, pure devotee of the Lord, however, can deliver not only his personal self, but also many others in his association. So now the question is, how does the pure devotee do that? The pure devotee does this because Krishna in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam is within the heart of the pure devotee. And through this Srimad Bhagavatam, the narrations of Krishna, they have this powerful, you could say, this attunement, this powerful uh, uh, tool, which is the messages of Krishna. Through those, they can liberate the whole world. And that is the verse, right? Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibiriditum kalmashapaham. That the gopis are saying that it is your narrations, it is your words, it is your activities that are the medicine for those who are suffering in this world, that are the panacea for uplifting this entire world. And so they have that, the devotees of the Lord possess that. And therefore, with these messages, they can deliver everyone, this whole world. And in one verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada writes that how every generation of devotees can do more than the previous generation. Not because they're more advanced, and we should never think in that way, but they can do it because they carry the previous generation's mercy with them, and they can build upon what they have already given. And then Prabhupada gives his own example. He says that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wrote the books. He mainly wrote books. He spoke with some people, maybe established a small, center, something like this, for bhajan, like, which was largely, I think, his home. And he was running the Jagannath Puri temple. But he mainly wrote books. That was his contribution. And his son, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he wrote books and he also established 64 mats in India. And Srila Prabhupada, then he says, by his mercy, then he took that grounding and their literature and their instructions, their inspiration, and he established 108 temples around the world. And then Prabhupada writes, and my disciples, they will do even more. Not because they're more advanced than Srila Prabhupada, but because they're using the foundation that Prabhupada laid and then expanding it. Now we see 108 has turned to 800. So each generation can do more and more. And I was thinking that, Srila Prabhupada's disciples, how much they set this movement on solid footing, right? They went through so much to establish this movement, which at many points was about to break apart and vanish, all these things. But they laid the foundation, the groundwork, right? And then, and they accepted. So Prabhupada accepted nearly 10,000 or more than 10,000 disciples. They each, some of them have accepted 10, 20, 30, 40, 70,000 disciples. His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj, nearing 100,000 disciples. And just think that when those now, the Prabhupada's, leading disciples did this. Now, each one of them is a pure devotee, and they are inspiring and making pure devotee makes others into pure devotee, right? It's said that not only does he deliver himself, but he delivers others. So then those spiritual masters will each make thousands of devotees. And when they become spiritual masters, then how many tens of thousands of spiritual masters there will be on this planet? And then we will see very soon Lord Chaitanya's prediction come true, that in every town and village of this world, Lord Chaitanya's name will be sung, danced, and chanted. So we are actually at a very fortunate time because at this time there's so much service, there's so much needed to be done because this movement is still in its infancy stage. It's still like, just now spreading and becoming kind of mainstream, popular in society, but nothing in comparison to like Christianity that has 2 billion followers, or Islam also, all these things. But it's gaining foot, but it's still very small in comparison to these big world religions. So there's so much service for us to do. Later on also there'll always be service, but in maybe a few generations there'll be billions of devotees around the world. And then, you do service or not, it won't matter so much. There'll be another billion devotees to do service. And in some places, it's like that. Like at the ISKCON Delhi temple in India, they're saying you have to wait 1 month to just have any service on the altar. There's so many people in line. And if you want some service like dressing the deities or something like very special, then you have to wait like a year. You'll get one chance, one day in the year to dress the deities because there's so many devotees. There's so many devotees. The same thing in Pune temple. Like it's now I think limited to the full-time devotees because and the full-time devotees themselves have to wait like once a month to get some turn. So how is this happening? All by the power of the transcendental narrations of the Lord, the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is spreading to every town and village and corner of the world by the sincere and humble efforts of these pure devotees who have delivered this whole world. And we're just seeing it happen, right? We're just seeing it come through. Like one time, Srila Prabhupada was on a train and he was just coming to America, like he had just arrived. And one man asked him, "Why are you here? Who are you? Why are you here?" And Prabhupada said, "I have thousands of disciples. I have, dozens of temples around the world, over 100 temples around the world. I have many farm communities, restaurants, projects, all of these things. And so I am here to preach the message of Krishna." And at that time, Prabhupada did not even have a storefront. He had a few dollars in his pocket. And he was telling this man all of these things. I think later on that man met devotees, and that's why how the devotees know this, because he related that this is what Prabhupada told him. And he had nothing. Prabhupada was penniless at that time. But he could see that because of Lord Chaitanya's desire and the desire of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, it's already all happened, and I'm simply making it happen. And in the same way, the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they know that because Prabhupada said it will happen, therefore it's already happened. We are just trying to make it happen. And therefore their meditation until the end of their life is always how to fulfill the desire, the instruction of Srila Prabhupada. Because once the instruction is there, once the pure devotee desires something and instructs it, it's already done. It's already there. So then if we try to fulfill it, we're fulfilling what is already meant to happen. There's one verse where Prabhupada writes, it's in the Bhagavatam, that it's not that the words of the sages come true, but rather the future is the words of the sages. The words of the sages become the future. So if they say everything will be all right, then it will be all right because their words are so pure and empowered. By their desire, Krishna fulfills their pure and desire. So this also, since it is Vyasa Puja today, I'll just mention a few words. We also saw in the life of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, where he was so dedicated. His whole life was just trying to fulfill every instruction that Srila Prabhupada gave him. And he used to work very hard. He would sleep 2 or 3 hours a night, and the rest of the day he was working, serving from 3 in the morning to midnight. He would be meeting people until midnight every single day. And one time someone asked him, "Why do you sleep so little?" And he said, "Because Srila Prabhupada slept so little. Because Prabhupada slept less, I always thought that there must be some way to do it. So I also tried. I also tried to sleep less." So he would sleep like 2 or 3 hours a day. And then he would work nonstop. sometimes he would work so hard that we would actually see foam coming from his mouth because he, like when you work very hard, just because he wouldn't take rest. Doctors would say, take rest, but he would. And then one devotee one time asked Guru Maharaj that, why do you work so hard? Like there's so many other devotees, all these things. Prabhupada will arrange for why. And he said, because I have to work so hard because Prabhupada gave me so many instructions. And before I die, I have to fulfill those instructions. He gave so many instructions, and I, as a disciple, means I have to fulfill. So he was just going through every one. Prabhupada said there should be a temple in this city in India. So he made a temple with other devotees in that city, in each city where Prabhupada had mentioned, he was making a temple. And this last one that he fulfilled was Kurukshetra, the Kurukshetra project, which is about to open probably next year or the year after. And Prabhupada has specially mentioned that he wanted a very grand temple in Kurukshetra. And that temple, the size of it is as big as TOBP in terms of square footage. It's not as big, it's not as tall and grand, but the actual square footage is that big. It's right where Krishna, next to where Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. In the same way, he had instructed him to establish 18 temples in Delhi. Some people actually say 11, some say 18, it's not clear. But he established 18 temples, the last one being the Rohini temple, which is very beautiful. And these are not just centers, these are full temples with, hundreds of crores costing that size. And then a week later, he 1 or 2 weeks later, he left this world. So a devotee lives to fulfill the instruction of his spiritual master. And because they know that whatever they fulfill, whatever he says will be very easy to fulfill. Very difficult, but at the same time easy, because Krishna is the spiritual master, and the spiritual master's instructions is the internal potency of Krishna. And Prabhupada writes, we were discussing Bhakti Vaibhav recently, that the disciples' desire to fulfill the instruction of the spiritual master is paramount to seeing the Lord face to face. So they know that they will also see Krishna face to face in the form of his Srimad Bhagavatam, his sound incarnation, to start with, and then face to face personally by fulfilling the instruction, by endeavoring to fulfill the instruction of the spiritual master. And that is a glorious life. That is a perfect life. That is the ultimate perfection of life. So I've already gone over time. So I'll stop here. If there's any comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I was on and in and out. So thank you so much, Prabhu, for a wonderful class on the first day of this series that we are planning to do next month or so.
Thank you.
And I was just thinking about what Prabhupada carried when he came to America. I mean, of course, he says holy name, and then the second thing he got is Bhagavatam. Him, right? I mean, that transformed the whole world. And of course, Prabhupada himself. So, but he got the Bhagavatam with him. So I mean, I was kind of, I mean, always kind of amazed to see these acharyas in the history of the, I mean, India, right, or the world. So I mean, they kind of, many of them lived very short duration, right? But they transformed, they left a huge impact, right? But if you see Prabhupada, he had only like a 10 years or 11 years. I mean, peak of his, I mean, preaching, right? I mean, the way he kind of, I mean, this is, we are still at 50, 60 years of his, I mean, starting of the moment. So I mean, of course, he said that it's going to last for 10,000 years, right? I mean, we'll see what is going to be impact Prabhupada has done to the world with his, I mean, preaching. So I was just kind of thinking about in that line. For me, I always used to think what Shankaracharya did in such a short duration. If he would have little longer, what he would have done. So, but yeah, but Prabhupada did it in 10 years, right? It's not even that long. I mean,
Not even, yes.
yeah, but
Such a
what is
good
impact
point.
is going to be after, like, say, I mean, I mean, 100 years or 150 years, right? 50 years only we are seeing such a big, huge change in the world now, right? In the way ISKCON is spreading with his
Yes.
followers. So,
Yes,
that's
Prabhu. That's such a nice point because one thinks that Prabhupada, being Nitya Siddha Satyavesh Avatar, he could have started at the age of 40.
Yeah,
If he had started at that age, or even 40 is late, right? 30, 25, he would have changed the entire surface of the globe. In
yeah.
11 years, he established 108 temples. Absolutely point. If for 10 more years, if he had stayed, just 10 more years, those 108 would have become 1,008, right?
Yeah, but still it's
But
becoming, right, from
yes,
with his
now it's there, yes.
yeah,
But then
like
he,
Gopal Krishna Maharaj did 18 temples
yes,
in one town, one city.
one
Right?
city, yes, yes. And and but I mean, it's being such a pure devotee, he certainly knew that he could have started earlier.
Yeah.
He could see the future. He was telling this man this will happen, so he definitely knew he could do it. But he purposely starts so late. Why?
Mm.
Just to leave the service for us and the future
Mm.
generations, right? His disciples, the future, because he could have done it. If he could do this, he could have done that. And he also told one time a devotee very clearly that when I leave is up to me. Krishna's left it up to me. One
Mm.
devotee was saying, "Oh, Prabhupada, you're going to leave now, and Krishna's taking you." He says, "No, it is my decision. It's up to me." So if he wanted, even at that time, he could have stayed for another 10 years, right? At least.
Mm.
But this is such a nice example that you brought for. But he intentionally did not do it so that we struggle a little bit in Krishna service.
Yes, Prabhu.
Mm, yes, that's a nice point. Yes. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna Prabhu, this is Saji Sutadas.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Please accept my humble obeisances, all Guru Shishila Prabhupada. It's a wonderful, wonderful, loving class. Thank you very much.
Mm,
I know, I mean, like, I really appreciate our Acharyas channels or
mm,
medium, like selecting hearing
mm,
as the primary medium for
mm,
us, and their vision seeing through hearing, right? So it's not just a hearing, and they make us to see through hearing. Like,
mm,
you have other sense, like working senses or knowledge gathering senses. Like, it
mm,
could be even like engaging the tongue in just by taking prasadam or touching the deities. There are other ways in devotional service, but
mm,
why they particularly picked the hearing? And
mm,
also, you touched like what the spiritual masters, when they say it's not just instructions, they are seeing the future, and that's the instructions is becoming empowered for us to carry.
mm,
Like, so they are seeing a lot of things. And can you please comment on the power of a hearing and why our acharyas took that medium,
mm.
especially micro message, Prabhu, like that has
Yes,
so powerful an impact, especially with contemporary world where everything is hypocritical, upside down, and that small message is even touching, like youngsters and in working environment. Can you please comment on the power of a hearing and a
yes,
vision of our acharyas?
yes, Prabhu. Thank you for the very wonderful comment and then question. And Prabhu, you are actually living the Bhagavatam. We are only talking the Bhagavatam, but you are actually living the Bhagavatam. So you're so humble. That's all I want. Um, so the thing is that actually, like in Satyug, the process was meditation. To your point, actually, it's a very good point that actually is meditation, and they're meditating within their mind, just closing their eyes, meditating on the Lord. In Treta Yuga, it was fire sacrifices, yajna. In Dwapar Yuga, it was building temples, deity worship. And then Kali Yuga, this population, this atmosphere is so degraded, right? It's so useless. This whole, everything about Kali Yuga is so unpleasant, right? We think it's okay, but when we actually read in Dwapar Yuga that no one would die untimely, right? If someone died untimely, even one person, it was understood that the king was not doing his work properly. Right? We sometimes read narrations in the Bhagavatam, the kings have so much respect, wealth, all these things, because they're so qualified. So not a single person would die untimely. in the good age. It would never be the case that the son would die before the father. Impossible. Now, when there's wars happening, thousands, millions of young people are dying before their fathers, all these things. So it's so messed up, the whole thing. So given this age, Krishna has so kindly appeared in sound, right, in the holy name. He's always there. He's always in every age. Veda means sound, and Krishna's present in the Veda. The holy name, in the Satyuga also, they're meditating on the name of Krishna. But particularly in this age, Yagyai Sankirtana Praya, right? That after Lord Chaitanya leaves, still this world is full of adharma, and Krishna promises he manifests when there's adharma in this world, and adharma has never been so bad. So how is Krishna fulfilling his promise? He's manifested in the form of sound. So this is why, particularly in this day and age, sound, hearing, and chanting is prescribed as the medicine. Why it's the Lord appears through hearing and chanting in this day and age, because it's such a difficult time, and because this is the process of this age, we can fully realize Krishna, as I said, through its sound incarnation, and the Lord fully manifests Himself through this sound vibration. He's present, and simply we have to channel the Lord into the ear and then into our heart, right? So He's given us how to access Him, how to hold Him in the heart. Just like we're reading today's verse, that this is the pure devotee. The pure devotee is someone in whose heart the Lord, as a sound incarnation, Bhagavatam, has entered. So in whoever's heart Krishna enters through sound and sits there, it doesn't just come in and out, but it actually stays there. That person becomes a self-realized soul. So yes, Prabhu, this is and to your point, Shinvatam Svakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana. And therefore, just by hearing these narrations, Punya Shravana, we get punya, we get piety, devotional piety, spiritual piety, by hearing about Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Like the comparison between the golden age and the current age and the channel of a hearing, it's very, very convincing. And I'm sure, like if somehow or other, by the mercy of the devotees, if we tune, like Srila Prabhupada always says, we are all like radios. We try to connect or tune to the radio frequency to the radio station. Like I like that analogy. I'm a big fan of All India Radio. So if you try to tune to that, to the radio station frequency through the channel of a hearing, that's my contemporary analogy. Thank you very much for the explanation. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Happy Vyasa Puja, Prabhu. So
Thank
one
you,
thing,
Prabhu.
thanks for so many points you brought it to remind us in hearing and service. That was surprising to me that even when you mentioned, we may take it very easily that, when Beat worship comes, now, once in a month, once in a year, at least we are so fortunate here, at least we are getting services here. So I was thinking about that when you mentioned. I had one question. The Christians and the Islam, they spread like wildfire in one point of time. Our Sanatan Dharma was so strong for the time immemorial. And this after even appearance of Krishna, right? That past 5,000 years, what really happened, that the Hinduism, basically in a Hinduism, the sense of the Sanatana Dharma, it's the only country in India, even today. Maybe we are spreading ISKCON everywhere, that's understandable. But what happened during that time, how the other religions took prominence and, took over actually. In the world, even today, the Abraham religions and this and that, if you really see, if you look at that, we are only very small. But we were the In the back in time immemorial, India was Bharat was everything. So what made I just had that question, Prabhu. What do you think about that? Why it happened like that?
Yes. No, I also wondered about the same thing. It's like such a good point. Like Krishna uh, fought this entire battle of Kurukshetra,
Yeah.
cleaned out all the demoniac forces, everything, established Maharaj Yudhishthira as the king, and literally 3 or 4 generations later, it's becoming lost, right? And Kali is appeared in the next generation. Imagine.
Mm.
So so and I asked someone this question also, and and it's Krishna, you know, uh, we sometimes, I think, as I recall, the answer was that we sometimes forget that the very purpose of this material world is ignorance, right? This is the world created for ignorance. So Krishna, by this big battle, millions of 600 million people something died in this battle. He liberated all of them. Right? We think, oh, so horrible, battle, all these things. Why? But he was liberating all those people, and also all these demoniac forces, which are demoniac, but they're very powerful. They weren't like Kalyug type. They're from a previous age. They're still pious in some ways, pious but demoniac, like powerful. Um, like Hiranyakashipu, right? He was such a great demon. He's a demon, but he's also a great demon. So in the same way, he finished everything off, even the Yadu dynasty, everything, and then Kalyug came. So he does this, I mean, sort of non-stop. It's like non-stop, meaning like the material world, it's there for the purification of the living beings. So these beings are, being liberated through knowledge, through this, but also by the Lord's plan, like this battle. And then after that, Parikshit Maharaj is there, Kali comes, but still for a few thousand years, it's very pure, the atmosphere. And then starting, about, maybe 1,000 years ago, again, things are getting lost. And then uh, Lord Chaitanya comes. After that, things go down again. Then the acharyas come, they bring it up again, and now we're seeing it revive. And so before Kali Yuga, it was and Krishna comes right at the start of Kali Yuga. It was pretty much everyone is pious. So Satyug, Treta, Dwapar, all three ages are very pure and pious. Yes, some battles happened, or Ram comes, kills Ravan. There's always some demons, but overall, everyone is a self-realized soul. But then those who are left are people with gross desires. So every age, all the good people, everyone gets liberated in Satyug. Those who are left, they have deeper desires, they come in Treta. Those who are left, they come in Dwapar. Then everyone who's not able to go back to Godhead in Satyug, Treta, and Dwapar, the most kind of ones who want the sense gratification in the most, you could say, physical way or gross way, they are being born in Kali Yuga. And this is why Kali Yuga then is like the final thing. And then in this one, then there's a golden age for 10,000 years. So Krishna, is giving a little golden age in this Kali Yuga, but then again, for 400,000 years, Kali Yuga is just going to, I mean, imagine it's 10,000, we were so excited and it's so long. But after that 400,000 years, people will just be, struggling, very little devotional service, and then they'll go back. So from the big picture, if we see like the cosmic viewpoint, it's just the kind of the way Krishna makes this universe go forward. I don't know if that makes sense, bro.
Yeah, I think what I understand is to based on the Krishna's plan, this decline happened. Maybe that's what I'm understanding from your discussion.
Yes.
And so I was also thinking when Alvars, South Indian, look at that, they were from the beginning of Kali Yuga, they were there. Even previously, even before Kali Yuga started, the Alvars was started. Kulashekar Alvar and his predecessor, something like that. If you look at it,
Yes.
they were all there. They were so strong, and only the southern part was very strong. After that, the northern part was a little bit different.
Yes.
And then only, then if you look at the Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, if you see that only the southern Dravidian part was even today, from that time, even today, that's strong.
Yes.
Northern part, something happened, right?
Right.
But till Chaitanya, Lord Chaitanya come, and even if you look at even the whole Gaudiya Sampradaya, before Madhvendra Puri, everybody, most of them from Karnataka,
Yes.
right? Madhvas, basically.
Yes.
So I don't know, guys, it's very missing link somewhere. Why it happened, no idea.
Yes.
It's maybe Krishna's plan, probably, but it's really still mind-boggling because recently there was one Acharya from Kumar Sampradaya came, and he was talking about that a few things like this. Sanatan Dharma was somehow declined. And then we had this four, we may think ISKCON. Yes, we are ISKCON and Prabhupada's movement, of course. All the other sampradayas are also, they are all authorized by Krishna. Nimbarka sir, Vishnu Swami. I don't know much about Vishnu Swami, but Nimbarka is more probably in Vrindavan, probably, right, Prabhu? No, nothing else other than that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yes. I mean, that's Lord Chaitanya in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. When he travels to the south, he says, "Oh, here the Vaishnavas are existing in great numbers." So Lord Chaitanya himself recognizes that. At the same time, when he meets the priests and the heads, he tries to convert them to
Yeah.
like that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
he's it's fully 100% that, like you're saying, that the seed and the practice, not just the seed, but the foundation of Vaishnavism is solid there because of the acharyas, and particularly in the south, like Lord Chaitanya says, in great numbers they're there. In the north, it was very getting mixed up. Like it was there
Mixed
in
up.
Bengal, but it was getting mixed with Kali Puja, Durga Puja, even to this day, and other things because it was easily accessible to the Middle East and all the invaders that come through the north and
Maybe that is why, because of that. Okay,
yes,
I understand now. That
south is
maybe
more
the
protected.
Mughals and others, that invasion was more probably
Yeah.
from time immemorial, right? Okay, thank you so much, bro. It was a very good discussion and a nice class. And of course, the Bhagavatam, the purport, and those two verses also was very touching. Nityam Bhagavata Seva, end of the day. Thank you. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.